All right, we're gonna go over the parts list and everything you're gonna need to do to cool your Jeep down if you're having problems like I'm having with this thing. Now, and we went over it in the last couple of videos. My Jeep has been, okay, it runs pretty much normally. Gets up to about 212, 215, 220. When it's hot outside, you're not moving or in slow traffic with stoplights and all that other good stuff. And when the air conditioning is on. Now, when it's on the freeway, air conditioning on the freeway, it'll get up to about 213, 214, 215, depending on how hard you get on it, right? But I don't like the fact that it seems like it's almost going to get real hot, and you get scared about that. I got PTSD about overheating engines because I've had some problems in the past. Usually it's fan related. Now my thermostat is a brand new Motorrad. I got a Motorrad fail-safe in there, right? So it's fine. If it fails, it's supposed to fail open, which would let all the coolant go to the radiator. Now every time I find my truck getting hot, the radiator hose, upper radiator hose is hot and full. It's full right now. Everything's going through, but for some reason the air conditioning just really kills the dang motor. Now, when the air conditioning is not on, in stop and go traffic, sitting still, 90 degrees plus outside, the temperature will come back down to 208, 209, 210, something like that. So I'm not thinking I got a head gasket problem, because head gaskets, when they blow, you get contaminated coolant, contaminated oil, and heating all the time. Problems, overheating too much. So we're not having that. So I'm pretty much sure our culprit is this guy. Now mind you, this is not the stock fan. The stock fan, I never really had these problems, but I replaced the fan once or twice because I was having fan issues. I thought something was wrong with the fan. It was actually just the harness. But before I figured that out, I replaced the fan with an aftermarket cheapie. Then I noticed the the consistent heating problems that I was having when this thing would just, one time, it got so hot, it was like 110 that day. I'm on my way to San Bernardino. I'm on the 605 North. I've been driving for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. Slight traffic, but I'm in a carpool lane. I'm moving, and the thing just crept up to like 225, 230. And I'm like, and then the side of the radiator popped off. I'm like, what the hell is that? So I pulled over and I dealt with it. I babied it. I got all the way home, canceled the trip. But that was like when I noticed the problems were beginning. So anyway, a lot of people with these rigs have had problems similar to these. And every summer, it's hot, you start hearing about them. Well, we're gonna do something about it. We're gonna fix this. Today, right now, I'm gonna start showing you what I bought to make this thing better. And we're gonna fix the stock fan situation. Now for reference here, I'm gonna show you a stock radiator. Now this ain't a stock radiator, this is a Karma Racing radiator. I had this one on the truck. It overheated a couple times while I had it and developed a leak, but I sent it back. They fixed it and gave it back to me, but I haven't yet put it on because in the meantime, I had to put another radiator in there just to drive the truck. So I have this one still ready to go. And it's taken a few hits, but everything's fine, right? Now, this is the stock fan. However, this is not the stock fan. This is an aftermarket cheapie. But I had bought this just to basically, have a new fan to put on the system, right? But anyway, you can see how it looks from here, and it's, I guess factory, it does the job, but it does not seal very good around the edges. It's kind of there, right here. It's a little, a little wonky, but anyway, the way this fan is designed, you got all this open space up here that doesn't really trap any, it doesn't force it through the fan, right? It's just kind of free floating air. It just passes through at will. But when you're not driving fast, this fan, if it's not super stupid strong, you're really not sucking anything through a radiator like this. And this is a 3-row. See how many rows I got in there? GoPros are horrible with lighting. But anyway, you can see it's a, you know what? No, this is a 2-row, but 2 big ass rows. Anyway, these fans, if they not up to stuff, they not up to stuff. Now the stock fan like this blows about 24 to 2,700 cubic feet per minute, which is, I guess, reasonable. It passed all the tests. You know, like I said, they take these things out and they drive them in Death Valley and all that in the summertime and make sure it keeps its temperature. So, aftermarket fans, I know they are not blowing as hard and as strong as the stock fan. So, this is what I'm gonna do. All right, boys and girls, this is the replacement for what was this down here. Now, this is 2 pieces I had to buy separately. The shroud here, metal shroud. Now this comes with aluminum radiators on eBay. I have one of those in here. Now, no, I take it back. It's in the Magnum. It's in the Magnum. I have one of those in the Magnum. Came with this shroud, but I didn't need it on that one because I have the Dorman OE Fix double fan for that car. I did not want to go with one big fan for that car because it came with 2 little ones. So we left that alone. But this car, I took this shroud. Actually, it's not this one because this one don't fit the LXs. This is, you know what? Let me start all over. This is the fan that we're going to be using for this project. Now, this is 2 separate pieces I purchased separately. I bought online, there's a seller online on eBay that sells this shroud for the WK Jeeps. So we bought this shroud. And this is the Proform brushless 16-inch fan. Now, like I told you, the stock fan blows 24 to 2,700 cubic feet per minute. This one blows 3,200 feet per minute, 3,200 feet per minute, cubic feet per minute. So this one blows a lot stronger. And this one is actually variable speed. Now, before we get to that, I'm gonna break down the fan here in a minute, but when you get this fan, you get these little adapters here. They slide into the little slots for sides because the lines did not match up. These are the stock lines, the holes that were in the shroud with the stock cheapy fan that it came with. Now this shroud comes with a fan sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, that one's in the box in the house. But this shroud, this fan, 3,200 cubic feet per minute, variable speed, requires a controller. And mind you, I had to drill holes for these. So basically what you do is you sit, let me go back a little bit. You sit the fan down in place, make sure it's, you know, basically centered off in here, right? Sit the fan shroud down. Let me put this back up here. All right. Sit the fan down, put the little adapter, little contacts in here, and then there's a hole there. You can take a marker, a Sharpie or something, and make your little dots, make 4 little holes, mount it. No problem. Comes with the hardware already, good to go. Now, this fan does not plug in to the stock system, which uses, well, something like that. But anyway, so we're gonna have to get a couple of things first before we can make this fan work. Now, when you buy this fan, now I bought this from Summit Racing, not available on eBay, not available on Amazon. So Summit Racing sells the Proform 3,200 cubic feet per minute brushless fan. You don't want to go back to a regular old brush fan because they get hot, they get overworked, they die early. This one, there's no actual contact, it's all magnetism, it's all electromagnet in here that forces this fan around, and that's what makes it variable speed. Now, the Jeep WKs that we have are not variable speed fans. This fan has 1 speed, full, right? That's why on this truck you have a resistor. You have 2 lines coming from the computer. There's 2 wires that come from the computer, and then they plug in down here. And down here, one of them goes through this white thing, and comes out and goes to the fan. The other one goes straight to the fan. So the white thing here is the resistor. It's a little ceramic piece that sends current through, and it steps down the current. Well, not steps it down, but it resists the current, so that the fan gets a little bit less current and it spins slowly. That's what you get when you turn on the car and turn your air conditioner on. The fan spins kind of slow, you know, just enough to get you by. And early on in the heating up process, it'll spin slow, and then you have a setting in your computer for a higher speed to come on at a certain temperature, and then it runs power through the other circuit and it goes high. Now, we're changing all of that to make this work. This has to be run independently of your PCM. So, what we're gonna do is unplug that fan, come back, plug this one in. Now, when we plug this one in, we're gonna have to do some things first. Now, when you buy the ProForm brushless fan, you're going to have to get a controller. They sell them together, but there's a couple of options for controllers. Now, this controller here is a purely digital controller, and you can actually set the temperature on here where you want the fan to spin up and basically hold the temperatures at a certain point. It has its own thermostat, not thermostat, but a temperature sensor. Now, this goes through this rod right here. You plug it in, and it goes through the radiator, and it hooks onto the little sensor, which is down there in the bag. I had to show it to you. But this goes right through the radiator, goes right through the little, you know, the little veins or whatever you call them, fins. Goes through the fins, and this connects via wire to, I believe it's one of these wires on here. Anyway, look, they give you instructions. This is how it's going to get plugged in. And take a good look at that. Now, like I said, you're going to run some wires here. This is a wiring job, because like I said, you're going to change the way your fan is running in your truck. It's not going to be a 2-speed fan anymore. It's going to be a how much air do you need right now kind of thing. Totally continuously variable. Now, it should work way better than a Nissan transmission, but nevertheless, same principle. Now, like I said, you hook up wires, the little controller here, you're gonna hook up wires to the temperature probe here. That's I think a little black wire, a little double black wire, right? Then there's also a manual override where you can just come out and turn the thing on if you want to. Now, you can mount this little switch either inside the car, or you can put it in the engine bay. It's really solid and robust. It's all metal, so you put it somewhere with some airflow. You know, I wouldn't put it on the radiator or on anything hot, but you can mount it inside the engine bay and make adjustments there if you want, if you don't want to try to run wires and mess up your interior or whatever. But it's up to you. Now, as we look at this, it does say the variable speed is based on engine temperature. Set engine temperature on the controller, and it will adjust the fan accordingly to maintain that temperature. Now, this fan blows hard. I turned it on, I powered it up in the house, and it almost took off and flew away like a drone. I had to be real. This is a flowing fan. Now, it's a pull fan. I don't believe you can set it to work in both directions. I think it's only pull. You can also manually set the fans to run at a given percentage. This is not controlled by temperature, and it's completely manual. So if you have it inside the car, you can do that. If you like racing applications, you want to just have it on full blast all the time, something like that, up to you. But for daily street driving, we're gonna hook it up based on engine temperature. Now, you can also toggle between the two modes with a simple long press of the mode button, which is one of these two, temp or fan percentage. Now, the wiring diagram, we're gonna need to run hot wire with a 30 amp minimum fuse. I got a 40, and we're gonna run that to the fan directly from the battery. Luckily, on these things, the battery's up front, so it'll be a nice short wire with a fuse on it. And also a negative terminal straight to ground. Then we're gonna run a wire, or the red wire here on this thing, gonna go to key power. Now, there's stuff in the fuse box that comes on with the key that you can just tap into. I've done that before, like the fuel pump, stuff like that. There's another wire that runs to the air conditioning clutch. Now, the AC on this thing is down low. I mean, the compressor is down low. So I don't know if you really want to try to mess with that. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run, I bought a harness for our trucks and all the LX cars. There's a harness you can buy on Amazon. And it goes to, this is actually for the 2-fan setup for the LX models, for the Charger, Magnum 300, right? And it's got 2 separate systems, 2 separate inputs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna plug this in to our original fan connection down there in front of the fan, right? And we're gonna rely on the signal, the signal that tells us when to turn on the air conditioning circuit, which is the low circuit. It's one of these. I think it's the long one. I think it's the long one here. I'm not really sure. But we're gonna jack this switch straight from the computer, so it's gonna know, turn on the low speed AC, and we're gonna wire that one into the purple wire on here. It's purple. It's like kind of red and blue, and then have purple in the printer. And that should be good to go. So we're gonna do all of that. Like I said, this stuff is all readily available. Now this controller and fan cost me about 300 bucks. If I can remember correctly, it was $299, something like that. I'll show you. I'll drop the link in the description. And this harness was 20-something bucks. And you can't get the one for the Jeep anymore. They're just not available. You have to, I don't know what you do for the one for the Jeep, but as the Jeep is getting older and more long in the tooth, you're gonna have to find other ways around stuff, because everybody's fan wire setup is gonna go bad in this thing, okay? Everybody's wire system is gonna go bad, and you can't find a new one anymore. There's like a few other things on this truck. So this is a good solution to carry you into the 2030s. Now, we haven't tested it yet on this truck. I intend to do that today. And right now I'm about to get into it, and I'm about to go hard and mount this thing up. Shouldn't be too hard as far as changing out the fan system, because all I really got to do is pull this shroud out and disconnect the wire from it, pull the shroud out. I probably have to take off the air intake. I'm trying not to take off my one-piece upper hose. And by the way, if you go to Karma Racing and get your radiator made from them, you can have them put the upper hose right here on this side, so you just got boom boom short, and it's nice and cool. I like that. I didn't do that when I ordered mine, but nevertheless, I'm going old school. I'm still at the old school. But anyway, I think if I just take off the whatchamajig, I can get to the screws down there that'll free this thing. And I gotta move the little receiver dryer, because this is mounted to the top of the fan shroud's bolt. Move that back, and I think I can get it out. I might take off the grill to do it, just to make it more visible when I show you. But either way it goes, that's what we're gonna do today. So stay tuned for part 2.
Work team in the beat.